Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and in today's video we are going to go over singly linked list in Java, and I'm going to first explain you what are a linked list, and then I will show you how to code it, and I will also show you how to print it and how to do the add to method, add to front method, insert before, insert after. So make sure you stay until the end. Okay, so this is just to have a general idea of what are a linked list. So a linked list is basically a list of elements linked together. So they're linked together like this, right? And it's like a list of elements. That's why they're called linked list, because they are linked together. Okay, they're linked to each other. So this element is linked to this one, and this element is linked to this one, and this element is linked to this one. So just like that. Okay, so now also these elements, you do not call them elements in the linked list. So these elements are called a node. Okay, so a node contains two important parts, and this is very important. You need to know this very well, that a node contains two things. It contains data, and it has a reference to the next field, or you can say the address of the next node. Okay, so this is what you call a node. Okay, a node, because it has the data and it stores the reference to the next field. So if it's not clear, let me show you how the linked list, how the actual representation of linked list looks like, because what I showed you earlier, that was like just to explain you, to get an idea of what are linked lists, but this is not the true representation of linked list. Let me show you now what is the true representation of linked list. Okay, so it has a node. So first it contains the data, and then this next field is going to point to the next node in the list. Okay, so then there will be a next node in the list. And then this node contains again the data and the next field. So the next field is again going to point to the next node in the list. Okay, so this is the next node in the list. So this is the third node in the list. And this has again the data and the next field, which is going to point to the next node in the list. Okay, and similarly, it's going to continue like this until the end of the list. And how do we know that it's the end of the list? When the next node is going to point to null. Okay, so every time the next node is going to point to null, we know that this is the end of the list. Okay, so that's for the end of the list. But what about the start of the list? How do we know that when is the start of the list? Okay, for that, we have a head. Okay, so the head is going to point to the first node in the list, and that's when we know that it's the start of the list. So that the start of the list is always the first node is going, the head is going to point to the first node. Okay, so just so you guys don't confuse that it's pointing, the next field is pointing to the data. Okay, because when I was taking Java for the first time, I thought that the next field is pointing to this data. So I was always confused when coding. So just so you guys don't confuse, I'm going to make these nodes into 3D so that it's clear that the next field is not pointing to the data, it's pointing to the node itself. Okay, so the node. So the next field is pointing to the node, not the data. Okay, so just like that. So I hope that now you have an idea of what linked list looks like and what are these. So this is the actual representation of a linked list. These are the elements that are connected together, and these elements are referred to as nodes, and a node contains a data and the reference to the next field. And the head, it always points to the first node, and the next field of the last one always points to the null. So this is it for the linked list representation, and now I'm going to code this. So